I love working with Life Network, and we touch over 14,000 lives each year.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was actually very scared. I told my boyfriend that I was pregnant. He denied that it was his and left.
Not all of our clients that come through the door are single moms or single girls in crisis. We also have couples.
I was really shocked, just thinking, you know, we're pregnant. It was just so overwhelming. I crouched down and was sitting on the floor crying. Kyle actually was saying, "It's gonna be okay." He held me there and he said it was gonna be okay. The first reaction, I think, was more that I was scared how my parents were gonna react, knowing that they were gonna be disappointed.
When I told my mom I was pregnant, she just was sad for me that I found myself in the situation of being a single parent.
My parents are from a very traditional Chinese background, and so I knew they were going to really disapprove of me having a child before I was finished with school and before I was married.
When I was growing up, my dad was military, so I didn't see him a lot, and when he was home, it was pretty rough.
And even knowing that my parents would disapprove and everything, just hearing some of the things that they said to me after finding out was really difficult to hear.
While I was pregnant, my family life was pretty rocky with things with my dad, and he and my mom have since separated.
I think that's why I thought of abortion when I found out that I was pregnant.
I went back and forth on the adoption issue so many times because I just kept telling myself, you can't do it, that I just wasn't going to be a strong enough person to take care of a child.
We had gone to Planned Parenthood. Just talking to them about what they'd need, they said that they would need to do an ultrasound to verify that we were at 5 weeks. There were these people holding signs out front. I just went up to one of them and said, you know, what are you doing out here? And they were like, well, we're just praying, and you know, we just want people to know that there's other options. And she's started writing down a number and just hands me this sheet of paper with Brenda's number, and she's the post-abortion counselor at the Colorado Springs Pregnancy Center. So I called her, and
Kyle told me about Brenda from the Colorado Springs Pregnancy Center. I thought maybe it would be good to go in to talk to her.
The first time I walked into the pregnancy center, I was really nervous, but the staff and everyone was so friendly. And
so I called them and said, hey, you know, do you do ultrasounds? And they said, yeah, they're free. Planned Parenthood was gonna charge us $80. So really, all I wanted was our free ultrasound, please.
I had in my mind that having the abortion was the best thing to do for the baby. It wouldn't be as bad to have an abortion when the baby was less developed. The way that she put it to me was that the baby's life is already in there.
When I saw the baby for the first time on the ultrasound, it was really different.
Even though the baby hasn't been born yet, it wouldn't even hit me, you know?
After going to Planned Parenthood, it's just, the focus was different. So when I came to the pregnancy center, the whole focus shifted. It was not the immediate, it was kind of the long term.
I was about 6 months pregnant when I finally decided that I was really gonna keep my son.
But once I was able to see the ultrasound, it was, yeah, I knew.
I knew that there was no way I could go for the abortion anymore.
Life steps really played a big part in a lot of different pieces of kind of getting prepped.
During my pregnancy, Life Steps was very helpful. I was able to gain knowledge through watching the DVDs.
And we have done the prepared childbirth class, and we've done 2 infant care classes, and we have 2 more to go.
And learning about how to care for an infant, how to take care of me during the pregnancy.
It's really helped kind of calm a lot of the fears about, you know, well, what happens if this happens?
They love to come to their appointments.
When I found out I was pregnant, the friends that I did have left and wanted nothing to do with me. And so I was completely alone.
It's just been really wonderful to go to a place where you feel not alone.
Just being able to talk to people that were in the same situation.
To have the support was a really big relief.
This is a safe place
where you're not judged.
It's a place that we can trust to, you know, help us through all this.
What I've learned is it's really about building a relationship.
And she always made sure to take time to sit down with me and really make sure that I was doing okay.
My bi-weekly meetings with Rob, I mean, I look forward to them a lot.
And also being able to earn baby bucks to get things that I wouldn't have been able to otherwise as a single parent.
One of the reasons that I love volunteering at Life Network is I love the ability that we have to touch people's lives, physically, spiritually, and emotionally.
Spiritually, I was raised in a Christian home. We went to church.
I didn't grow up in the church, but I became a Christian when I was my late teens.
I didn't grow up with a faith background. Half of my family believes in Buddhism and half of my family are Christians. I wasn't really brought up on either.
I was kind of the rebellious child and decided to try and go my own ways.
You know, I'd kind of walked away.
One of the things that we have to offer them is hope. They feel loved when they come here. They enjoy going to a Bible study that's offered.
And when I started going to the Bible study at Life Steps, it really helped me solidify that relationship with God.
We're not trying to move them into a religion.
Primarily my meetings with Rob have made a huge impact on my spirituality.
And sometimes we're the first people in our counseling sessions that they can learn to trust.
The biggest lesson that God has taught me through having a difficult pregnancy, having a difficult 3 weeks with my son because of his health issues, and it's been to trust him.
I knew that I needed God to be the best father that I could. I know that, you know. But it was that little extra push.
Even in the beginning when I talked to Brenda, she made me realize that God put a life in my tummy, and I hadn't really made that connection with him yet. It was still a really strong connection for me.
It's so humbling to know that there's people out there that really care. It's a very special thing that they do.
God is here and He loves each and every one of us as well as those clients. And that's why I volunteer here, is because it's such a privilege to extend that in the name of Christ.
If I had chosen abortion, I think I would have regretted it for the rest of my life. Especially after talking to Brenda.
You know, I could have very easily gone the other way. We could have paid that $80.
Once Reed was born, being able to turn to God. Yeah, I'm not in the most ideal situation, and no, He doesn't approve of how I got in this situation, but He's still there for me.
I had to really think about not just myself. I had in my mind having the abortion was the best thing to do for a baby, or for Kyle, or for my parents. I just want what's best for the baby.
You know, as I anticipate being a father, it's just shifted kind of what I want.
Looking back on how Reed's father left at the beginning of the pregnancy and wanted nothing to do with me or him, it has been difficult knowing that Reed is one day going to know that his father left as Reed gets older, he'll be able to have that relationship with God, knowing that he has a Heavenly Father that will never leave him, that will always be there for him.
We're 1 month away now, and it's, I mean, I've never been as excited for anything in my life. You know, we're gonna have a family.